Hey everybody, it's Simon here, IOFlow on the forums, and this is my project Eden in Unreal Engine 5. Got a few cool things going this week, and I got some new cool stuff going today, so I thought I'd make a little short video just showing off how it all works. So previously, this week I've been showing and making some videos of how the coastline stuff looks really nice. If I turn the domain warping off, you can see underneath what I've got here is a dynamic texture that I've generated on the CPU using all my tectonic plate interaction stuff and everything. It creates this 512 by 512 texture for each face of the planet. The planet's a cube, so it's got the 6 faces, and then the cube gets inflated to a sphere. That's how it works. So I've got these patterns here that I can bring in like that. The domain warping is what lets it have this cool coastal look. And then what I've also done is, just for a bit of variation, I've added this Tetris pattern. So you can see it there. If I turn it up to full strength, it's basically just a little tiling texture that I found. If I go back down there like that, you can see with the domain warping on, it's sort of cool. But then when you fly down, coastlines look really cool, but everything's really flat. So I'm happy with the coastlines the way they are now, so I'm ready to start working on how to generate the elevation in different parts of the terrain here like that. And so the first stage of that is adding what I call a Truchet grid. So to help show how that works, I'll just zoom up a bit again, turn the domain warping off, and then turn this Truchet strength up to full bearing strength. And you can see it's this basically random rat maze, mouse maze type series of random pipes. If you don't know how stuff like this is generated, just Google Truchet, like that. But what it does is, it's if I turn it down, 3.01, you can still see it a little bit. I put the warping on. See, without the warping, it's like pretty garish, but then once you start doing domain warping, you get all these interesting patterns. So for instance, if I wanted to do a bunch of mountain range, if I decided these biome cells here were going to be a mountain range, then I can use that Truchet grid pattern here after it's been domain warped to create this interesting pattern, which I can then use to create elevation for mountains. Or maybe over here I want to have a bunch of rainforest stuff and I need some sort of river network to flow out to the ocean. I've got all the low points of the gradient from the Truchet grid with the nice domain warping. Lets me run stuff out to the coastline here like that. So it's very, very handy, and it's going to be like, there's all these different biomes that I want to do with different profiles and stuff, but this Truchet grid is like the base grid upon which it all is built. So I'll turn that back down. Yeah, it's not really intended to be here just at this simple, in this simple way as a cosmetic feature. It's more of an input that I'll feed into different curves. Like for instance, these colors here, this gradients is coming from that. So as well as having color gradients, I could have all different curves for different biomes. So like I might have a curve for a mountainous elevation that will interpret this Truchet grid in one way, and then for the valleys and the rivers over there, I could have a different curve that was a lot flatter and had little dips in it for the river beds and such. So it's pretty cool, and certainly had me on my tippy toes with my mathematical understanding of how to do tricky stuff like this. It's coming on nicely, and hopefully in the next week or two I'll get some actual elevation back into it, so that when you fly down to the planet's surface it's not all flat and boring. Also notice that down here on the ground there's a few artifacts, so a bit of cleanup work to do. See these little lines and stuff, and also down here the lines are very simple, but that's nothing that we can't just add more detail again down at this level with another set of domain warping, but just on a much lower frequency or higher frequency. High frequency. Very happy with how it's all going. The only real question that I have for Epic or anybody else there that knows about such things is I've noticed that when I fly into the planet here like this, there's a point at which the atmosphere blinks on and off. It'd be sure nice if there is a way to make that behave a little bit better. But that's not top of my list of things to worry about at the moment. And then at some point I'll add clouds back in again too to make it all even prettier. So cool. There you go.